yet. It's time for the Corey Butterfield Show. It's Wednesday at 2-ish. And you're tuned into Magic 102.7. I am Corey Butterfield. We like to, in-house, call this the Being Bermudian Show. And I am here accompanied by my co-pilot, as usual, the one Willie Ferguson. Big Willie, Big Will, how's it going, man?
You know, good afternoon, Corey, and good afternoon, Bermuda.
Mercy me, mate. Well, yeah,
I'm souped up, man.
I hear that. What?
You know, I had breakfast. You know breakfast?
I heard of that.
You know, that's that meal that you have in the morning?
Mornings. I've heard of that.
Well, I usually don't have it, but I had it today.
Sounds like it, mate. What
I'm
was it?
souped up.
Cheerios? You see, quite
You
cheery.
know something? Let's get on with this show because I'm ready.
What do you want to talk about? Listening to you. You should go for it, then.
Well, you know
up?
something? I'm kind of glad that we're past the CARICOM.
Okay.
Unless something comes up. But it's interesting to note that there's going to be some town hall meetings. I intend to go to one of them. That's my civic duty, to see what our government has to say about it.
Okay.
That should be interesting. But other than that, I know it was something I wanted you to talk about. It was a speech.
A speech?
Was it a speech?
I haven't seen a speech lately.
It will come up to it, but no, it's not important, Dan. If I didn't remember it like that, it wasn't important. It crossed my mind.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah, and you know, one thing I've learned about radio, if you don't write it down, it's gone.
Hello. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's gone, but it just seems as if we've been away for like another weekend.
It feels it's been a minute. I must say, the CARICOM stuff, I think, like you said, unless something comes up.
Yeah.
But someone thought that I got a message that we were going to be doing Windrush today, and we were not. I had to advise the person, no, that was really, see, that's how, we call the Corey Butterfield Show, but right, you say Windrush and people go, oh, Willie said it must be happening.
No.
Because that's why I can't stand up to Willie.
It's gonna happen, but not right now.
Okay.
You know, we're heading into some beautiful time coming up on this weekend.
Yes, if you like this weather, this is beautiful weather.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, really, really gorgeous.
Yeah.
Probably the best lens to see our country.
Well, you know what? I've been getting my shooter finger ready.
Which brings me to the other. Well, no, we'll come to those in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Your shooter finger. You lost your marbles a long time ago. What makes you think you can play? Get it? Lost your marbles? No. Oops, it's not laughing. Okay, we'll move right along, Dan.
Yeah, let's move along.
But mate, seriously, you lost your marbles.
What you mean I lost my marbles?
Okay, you got marbles?
I have marbles at home. Yes, I do.
Okay. Well, let's come to the holiday in a moment.
Okay, cool.
And we will. Trust me.
All right.
For anybody who might be still listening and hasn't tuned off already, at least we really had a staff meeting. And for everybody who believes we actually have staff meetings, don't believe us. But
Yes.
it's a cover we give Glenn, right? So Glenn, we say, yes, Glenn, we discussed that. We had a meeting, right? That's what we tell the proprietor. And he, wait, I forget I'm talking to you. I think I'm just talking to you, and people just eavesdropping.
We done.
All right, we'll have to come again. All right, well, we just need a new trick. That's all.
What will that be? You took away a major card.
We don't have staff meetings because we meet by Zoom. Us and the rest of the team. Right, rest of the team. Doesn't that sound bigger than we are? You see what I'm saying?
You're not well.
Well, actually, Zoom wasn't big enough, so we want Microsoft Teams to have our discussions. But I've been so busy since Monday. I mean, been deep rabbit holes. I've been all over the place. I have to check, because I'm, trying to just check.
Mm-hmm.
But has there been any statement about the UN resolution calling the transatlantic slave trade the gravest crime against humanity?
Well, I'm been uptown, downtown, all around town, and I ain't heard of zinc.
Cool, no problem. You said that they might say it by now, and I just wanted to make sure that our runway was still clear. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not a problem. And so we'll put that there. That kind of then I have to ask, and I understand. I saw one thing, because the person who talked about Windrush wanted me to discuss this thing, and I not really say much about it, but I can do what I can.
Okay.
Do you understand that the King of the UK is going to be visiting Bermuda?
Oh, all on Facebook, my brother.
Oh, really?
And comments like, oh, finally the roads are going to get paved now. You know, all kinds of, people are throwing big stones.
So, can I deal with that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. And I do, by the way, I was curious about our country and this visit.
Right.
I really was. I have my feelings.
Right.
But a whole heap has happened in and around and to that royal family that kind of makes me question how Bermudians do feel about the visit.
Yeah, that's...
The Queen has passed, so whatever people felt for that particular monarch, I don't think has transferred to her son.
No.
I'm just saying, I don't know. So that's one big thing, right? It's not the Queen, it's him. Also, I believe his brother is facing some massive legal and diplomatic and international charges or investigations about his personal conduct and choice of who he spends his time with.
Yes. And
how he spends his time with them. The king kicked him out of one royal home and put him in another lodge, and the police have interviewed him. And then the king's sons seem to be separate between, what's his name? Harry
and William?
That's it.
Yep.
Between those two. So I'm just kind of wondering, what the actual atmosphere would be like. So doing what we do here, we don't really play with gossip too much. We deal with facts as much as we can. But I could tell you, and somebody, let me just say, there might be, if the caller is listening, really, you got a call. You had a call. I think you called me on Saturday last week or Sunday, but you had a call during the evening before our call, and someone questioning whether or not we ought to, or we're, or should be, or are political. And they seem to be questioning you about the role of politics and or the role of history on this show and culture. And from what you said to me, he had no doubts by the time you finished speaking to him about that. So what I want to say is on the king's visit, without even having to get political, there's just listeners to the show. I'm going to show you, so if you were listening last year, I'm just going to show how something plays out, and I know what I'm going to say, but as to why we're not being best served by our political leaders. And there is political stuff like, say, CARICOM, the tax, what's fair in tax or not, immigration. Mate, I've gotten a video about land being cleared in Southampton, at Southampton Princess. The neighbors are furious.
Really?
Apparently the hotel was supposed to be, the promise, allegedly, was that the hotel would be complete and open prior to the beginning of any of this construction.
Yes.
And so I've gotten a video, and neighbors are furious. But that's not on me. That's on the people who gave them an SDO.
Yes.
So through this kind of things, right? The listeners to the show, I'm going to sort of show I wouldn't say privilege, but what information can do, right? Or might be able to do. So I'm going to read just these very brief statements, and I'm going to read an article, or an excerpted article from Burn News as well. Okay, so just for the record, officially, maybe one day somebody will be listening to the Corey Butterfield show, and we'll recognize when this was in the media. So this is from the royal.uk website. Okay, so this is actually like the royal, family where they release information. The title: The King and Queen will undertake a state visit to the United States of America, followed by a royal visit by the King to Bermuda. This was published yesterday on the UK website. On advice of His Majesty's government and at the invitation of the President of the United States, the King and Queen will undertake a state visit to the United States of America. Their Majesties' program will celebrate the historic connections and the modern bilateral relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States, marking the 250th anniversary of American independence. The King will then continue to Bermuda to undertake His Majesty's first royal visit as a monarch to a British overseas territory. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. The gov.bm website, our government's website, under the title Visit of His Majesty the King, His Excellency Andrew Murdoch, CMG, Governor of Bermuda, is delighted to announce the upcoming visit of His Majesty King Charles III to Bermuda. This will be the first sovereign visit to Bermuda in 16 years, and His Majesty's first visit to a British overseas territory since his coronation. The visit is an opportunity to celebrate the many contributions Bermudians make in their communities, the wider British family in Bermuda, and around the world. It will also strengthen the UK's modern partnership with Bermuda, deepening the cultural, economic, and societal ties between us. Further details of the visit at the end of April will be announced in due course. His Majesty's last official visit to Bermuda was in 1970 to read the speech from the throne, officially opening the 350th year of parliamentary government in Bermuda. The last visit by a sovereign to Bermuda, to the island, was in 2009, when Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip visited Bermuda to join celebrations of the 400th anniversary of settlement. Bermuda was the final overseas territory Her late Majesty visited during her reign. You don't sound excited, really, I gotta say. And so News has a similar statement. They took the UK's statement on advice of His Majesty's government and blah, 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 that I read, and they took the part I literally just read and put that in an article, because the government house must have released a statement at 9:21.
Right.
Okay. Here are the comments below the Burn News article. Now, these are fairly, some of them, you know, this is not where you find intelligence and nuance. Mm-hmm. So bear in mind what I'm reading, okay? But I'm reading it because I just was curious.
Sure.
Number one, will the PLP organize a No Kings demonstration? Remember, there's a No Kings demonstration in the U.S., okay?
Right.
And someone else, or ask for reparations for true Bermudians. Somebody else, let the road paving frantically begin. And I could go on, but you get the flavor here. Mm-hmm. Someone, we don't need any Epstein people here on the island. It's messed up as it is, and PLP folks will be there with flags in hand. LOL, what a joke. And Bermuda is all about fairness. Yes, a fair Bermuda. The King is probably flying in just to give the OBA UBP party a long overdue eviction notice before they shuffle off back to the coffin. Once those who are right, I could go on, right? Trash. It's nothing in there that's even worth repeating or giving oxygen. However, I read through that for this reason. The statement from the UK, and this was not in our government statement, was that the King is the state visit to the U.S. is to commemorate the U.S. independence from the United Kingdom.
Okay, yes.
Really? That happened in a war. Do you remember the war? Mm-hmm. Would you happen to remember anything else about that war?
Not right offhand, no.
Well, let me tell you. This is part of what happens when you meet. Mm-hmm. It's not easy being me.
Okay.
The King is going to the U.S. to commemorate the 250th anniversary of American independence. Bermuda armed the Americans in their fight for independence.
Yes.
250 years ago was 1776.
Whoa.
We did the gunpowder plot on their show.
Yes.
The gunpowder plot was during the War of Independence.
We were collaborators.
What I'm trying to get at, mate, is the King nor the Bermudian government marks the real relevance of the King going to the U.S. and stopping in Bermuda on the way back to England. Okay? Not even on the way to the U.S.
Right.
And his wife isn't going to be with him.
Okay. Right.
What I'm trying to get at here is there might not have been an independent America, but for we read George Washington's letter. He was desperate.
Yes, he
was. He said, "I've tried everything I've been told, everything I've tried." We understand you have a store of gunpowder under a very feeble guard. You remember this?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
I got to say it again. Then it's got to be us. What I'm getting at, we aren't the National Museum of Bermuda. We're not the Ministry of Culture. We're not just we are just two idiots out here. But what I'm trying to get at, how is it that this has been announced, and just for us, the gunpowder plot part,
yes,
that fueled the independence, that England was furious about.
Yeah, I got it. I get it.
You sure?
Yeah, I get it.
Because this is my curse, that I read stuff and I'm like, oh, gunpowder. Well,
Corey.
All right, I'll tell the listeners.
Corey.
What? Mate, this is not deep. This is not encyclopedia level stuff.
No, but it highlights a deeper challenge that we have on this island, and that is the distribution of our history. If we don't know it, we can't celebrate it. We can't enjoy it. We don't know where we come from, and we don't know where we're going. So if our leaders are not in tune with our history, then how are you supposed to acknowledge it? If you knew or you know, you do, but you don't know and you don't do. So it doesn't surprise me.
Man,
so
would you like to take over the rest of the show? Because, man, I could just chill out if you talk. No, go ahead, man.
No, that's why if it isn't going to be anyone, it's going to be us. We got to get used to this. Seriously.
But
you're going to end up beating your head against the wall, and I don't want you to do that. Okay?
But listen. So we're doing the gunpowder plot, right? And we, as a discussion, we're not historians, right? We talk about it. And so I say, we make a little joke. How in the world did they roll all that gunpowder through the governor's backyard and he now wake up? And then we said, maybe the parliament met and then got him drunk. Let me read you this article. This is an article from the 21st of November. So November 21st, 1948. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in hearing exactly what took place. I have an idea, though. I have my own thing worked out as to what really took place, and I'm just going to listen to you.
Okay.
And I'm going to listen to you spill what I've been thinking.
The 21st of November, 1948.
Right.
The headline is St. George's new church, now a rambling ruin.
Okay, so.
Here we go. Young trees now push their heads over the broken arches of the nave, and moss creeps over the stones of what was to have been a fine new church, proudly overlooking St. George's Harbor, replacing the dimmed splendor of the 17th century St. Peter's Church. Flushed with prosperity from the American Civil War. The Civil War, okay, that's 1865.
Yes.
Okay. When St. George's was the headquarters for the Confederate blockade runners. Remember when
Yes, I got you.
The parishioners decided it was time to build a new church, in keeping with the most recent style, Victorian Gothic. St. Peter's was falling into disrepair, and the severe style of the building into disrepute. When the parishioners gathered at the town hall on February 7th, 1869, to discuss pulling it down and putting up a new building on the same site. That was the agreement, and a letter was sent to the governor, Sir Frederick C. Chapman, telling him of the decision. Before anything could be done, however, the legislature acted to have the old St. Peter's, the oldest Church of England building in the Western Hemisphere, and now old St. Peter's, the oldest Church of England building in the Western Hemisphere, and now recognized as an architectural gem. Until 1815, when the capital was transferred to Hamilton, Bermuda's seat of government was St. George's, where the governor's residence sat on Government Hill. The legislature granted the parish part of the grounds where the crumbling old government house stood, and subscriptions were readily given for the new church. People were pledging money.
Right.
Perhaps it was an evil omen, but in digging the foundations, a piece of ancient Bermuda history was revealed in a new light. 2 skeletons were found. It is believed that they were killed during the execution of the Powder Plot, when Bermudians, sympathetic to the American revolutionists, engineered the theft of a supply of gunpowder from the St. George's garrison to send to General George Washington. 2 brothers visited the governor the night the powder was stolen, so the story goes, and, in quotes, fed him too freely of spirits. Then, when he was helped to bed, they filched the keys to the powder magazine from under his pillow. Fleeing from Government House, they were accosted by a sentry with a French prisoner of war in tow. They killed both the sentry and the prisoner and buried the bodies in a shallow grave nearby. When the skeletons were found nearly a century later, nothing remained to identify them except the metal parts of their uniforms, which are now in the Bermuda Historical Museum. The article goes on. I could finish going. But
Yeah, this is interesting.
Oh, but that was the only part I wanted.
Is it anything of significance?
Well, not about the gunpowder. I was just only... All right, I'll continue.
Yeah.
Work continued on the church, which never had a name, but was simply always called the New Church. On January 28, 1874, Bishop Field laid the cornerstone. Let me just tell you, can I just jump in?
Sure.
So Bishop Field was how I got to this article. I have been researching Bishop Field for a later episode to come.
Right.
The reason was I have identified where the street names in Hamilton have come from. Cedar Avenue used to be called Bishop Street.
Okay.
After this Bishop Field.
Okay.
This is the same bishop who consecrated the Chapel of Ease in St. David's. Okay. And so there's a lot of reenactments used to be of Bishop Field going over to consecrate Chapel of Ease, because we went on a boat and had to be brothers that rowed him over. It was a real tradition. And, but I'm sorry. I got
okay.
See? No. Welcome aboard, right?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so where were we? I'm sorry. All right, let's go back. When the skeletons... Sorry about that, man. Now you see why we ask you to repeat something, I go off.
Well,
when the skeletons were found nearly a century later, nothing remained to identify them except the metal parts of their uniforms, which are now in the Bermuda Historical Museum. Work continued on the church, which never had a name, but was always called simply the New Church. On January 28, 1874, Bishop Field laid the cornerstone. By 1897, £2,200 had been spent, and everything was paid for up to that date. The plans had been drawn by Mr. William Hay of the firm Hay and Henderson of Edinburgh, architects for the cathedral there. Architects for the cathedral here. The church was of noble, in quotes, high church proportions. The nave was 61 feet by 13 1/4 feet and would seat 650 people. The chancel was 9 1/4 feet by 19 1/4 feet by 10 1/4 feet. The transepts were 18 1/2 feet by 13 1/4, and the vestry was 10 feet square. The church at that time lacked roof, floors, plaster, stained glass, windows, and to raise money for the final work, a large fair was held at Palmetto Grove, the home of Archdeacon Tucker, in 1897, when £300 was realized. The roof went on in 1899, and that was the last work done on the building. It was under the supervision of Mr. Arthur Wilkinson of Bailey's Bay. For while the church was in the building, things had changed in St. George's. With the departure of the blockade runners had gone the boom the East End had enjoyed, and money was not as plentiful as it had been a few years previously. I lost where I was. The strong garrison maintained at St. George's, as many as 3,000 troops before the turn of the century, was gradually withdrawn, and the strong support of the garrison officers vanished. Also vanished was the unified desire of the St. George's parishioners to build a new church. Cardinal Newman's reforms, new church rituals, which some thought were popery, so Catholic,
Yes. Got you.
had split the parishioners into two factions. Feeling between the two groups ran so high that the opponents of popery withdrew and built the Reformed Episcopal Church, which is now the Salvation Army Citadel. So passionate were feelings that once the crucifix was ripped from the altar of St. Peter's and burned.
Oh, wow.
By the time passions had died and the church was united once more, the new church had been abandoned and left to the mercies of wind and rain. Now it's too late to finish it. Weather has scored the soft limestone and loosened the mortar holding the bricks of the arches and columns. The soaring roof of the nave was ripped from its moorings in 1926 by a freak cyclone, which twisted and uprooted cedar trees on the western side of the church and the rectory behind it, but left untouched the eastern side of the buildings. Since then, small boys have worn the tread of the narrow twisting stairs leading to what would have been the bell tower. The remaining Welsh slates in the roof have been peeled off bit by bit. Trees and bushes have taken over the nave for their own, and St. George's new church is only a picturesque ruin. Some want it pulled down, since the tottering structure is a menace to the nearby rectory and sightseers who explore the ruin despite warnings. Others want it repaired to preserve the romance of the rambling ruin. The present rector, the Reverend John Stowe, would like to see the dangerous parts removed and the remainder repaired and made a garden spot. He would like to see a lawn spread across the nave and colorful climbing vines planted around the columns where outdoor entertainment and an occasional outdoor church service could be held in an atmosphere of Bermuda's romantic other days.
Wow. Can I say something, though, about those days? We've had two incidents where individuals, in this case with the unfinished church, two individuals were buried on church grounds, not a graveyard, but within the building confines, in a shallow grave. And there was another one, if you can remember, who was buried under the floor of St. Peter's Church.
Oh, yes. You're right.
It's amazing what these people are doing, burying people all under buildings.
Forgot about that.
My head's spinning. I'm saying,
yeah.
Man, can you imagine? They should go to all those other houses.
Tell them what they're going to find out.
But back in those days, was there not lost and found, but
missing persons?
Yeah, missing persons report done, or what? They say, well, such and such disappeared and we can't find them.
If you were slaves,
search.
If you were slaves, they definitely did. Right. Anybody see you, Billy and Corey? They left here. If you hire them or pay them or feed them, you're guilty. But in terms of, remember, they pulled Mary out of prison. They couldn't find Mary, right? And Mary had committed a felony.
Wait, did he think they had it a bit backward back then? Huh? A missing persons report. Well, we'll have to look that up too.
We'll have to take a look for that. But I raised that because the King's visit here, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not here yet, so there's plenty of time for people to make statements and reactions and plan occasions and all of that. But if you're we have the National Museum of Bermuda, right? But really, you want to say something?
I do.
Okay, good.
No, this is intriguing. Really?
Why don't you have that breakfast? Don't have it tomorrow.
No, I'm feeling great.
Okay.
No, but it's intriguing to the fact that mystery, that unsolved mystery,
yes,
is now come up in the next century.
Well, that was 1948, right? So that article about the skeletons.
Yes.
Right? The article was 48.
Yes.
So if they said the bodies were found a century after 1776, that was 1870 something.
No one had a clue.
And I'm saying, so we now read a story like, man, why do you think the governor was drunk?
And then the Buttons gave it away.
Yeah. There you go.
See, there's the evidence.
Yeah. Oh, not even drunk. Why do you think he was asleep? Maybe he was drunk. And to find out, they peppered him, helped him to bed. Now, the one thing about that story, and this is why I don't call myself a historian, I'm a storyteller, so I'm telling that story, is because we know that there's a bit of a conflict in that story. Mm-hmm. So, as I understood it, the gunpowder, the storage, they went through the roof. The roof was softer than the doors. They couldn't get through the doors.
Yes.
So if they stole the keys, they would have gone through the door.
Yes.
My guess is maybe they stole the keys, but they weren't the right keys. Maybe only the quartermaster
that is true.
had the keys for the gunpowder, not the governor.
Another one. Would you think that maybe there were people around at the time and it was easier to go to the roof?
Here's my thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the governor at the time, I forget which one it was, but he said, if you remember, we read it out, that there's no way this is only white folks, because they're not going to lift those barrels.
Yes.
And there's no way this is black folks, because ain't no way they're bold enough to try this.
Exactly.
So it's a combination.
Mm-hmm.
I think he missed the two brothers.
right there.
That got him hot.
Yes, right there in front of him.
Right there. Right? But that's what I'm saying. The story, right? So if you want to know, if you're a taxi driver, listen to this now, right? Imagine, right?
Right.
You're a taxi driver right now, right?
Yes.
You got tourists on right now. You're
Yes.
POB,
Yes.
right? Passengers on board.
Yes.
And you happen to right now be coming out of the square and you say, you know what? I'll swing you that by. You listen to the radio. The Unfinished Church is right there.
Let me go up there.
Do you know what the story now? Like it goes from, oh, that was Unfinished Church to, I often said it was the unrenovated church because
Right.
it had a roof,
Right.
right? But as I just read, it had a roof, but it didn't have the stained glass. It didn't have plaster on the walls.
Yes.
So it's just that location. A ton of stuff around it.
But can you imagine? Because I've seen that they've had a couple of weddings and
Oh,
different
yes,
things.
absolutely right.
Do you think those people who attended those weddings knew that someone had been buried?
Jeez, Willie, but you are.
No, I'm just saying.
Did-
Like, you're there, amen, amen, and not really thinking that you're sitting in an aisle. You could have been sitting on the guy's head.
Did you have a espresso martini for breakfast?
No,
Like,
I had
Check
a
it.
breakfast.
I
let
hear
me
you.
Tell you. But no, seriously. And that's the whole. Let me tell you about historical. Historical, once it's figured out, it stands. So that's what they've done. They're attending a wedding, and someone was buried, previously buried under their feet.
There you go. You know, mate, if you think about the distance from
Right.
near the Unfinished Church to Tobacco Bay,
Yes.
well, that was not easy. I hope gunpowder's light. Right?
But maybe some horses or drawing carriage or whatever was involved. I don't know. But then again, if you get the right people,
Well, yes, and
Yeah.
it's not like the any black Bermudian had a choice.
yeah, that's true too.
Right? It's
Yeah.
not like, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, okay, no problem. We'll handle it ourselves. Unlikely.
No.
So,
Right.
Anyway, so the King's visit,
Yes.
to me, it struck me as the reason for the visit to the U.S., later for us,
Right.
is about American independence that might not have happened, but for the treachery of us.
Yes.
I'm not sure the King's people know.
It's so true.
You know, it's
So true. But I want to share a memory.
good stuff.
I was in primary school. In fact, I went to Prospect Primary when Prince Charles came to Bermuda. And I'll always remember that he was driven, and was it his wife at the time, or
You were not in Prospect.
1970?
Yeah. No, I'm saying. Go on.
Anyway, I remember him being in a red car, convertible.
Right, this will be read out. The last time he was here was for the 350th anniversary.
Yes, he was in a red car, and he went to where the Hotel College used to be. I
Okay.
remember he had lunch over there, and I was excited.
Okay.
I mean, really, yeah, the prince, man, that's cool. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And I was caught up in the fray.
Yeah.
Now, there's a total contrast to how I felt back then.
It's so weird, you know. I don't really have any real memories of, waving flags at any royal family. But what I do remember, like it was
Yes.
yesterday, and got pictures of,
Yes.
me and my brother in town for the Gina Swainson parade.
Okay. Well,
That was a queen.
yes.
I
Yes.
remember that.
Yes.
I
Yes.
still, I got pictures about Gina Swainson, Miss World. Hey.
I would say this, sir, and all due respect to Bermudians who
That's
who
Willie's
are
voice.
into that pomp and ceremony
I'm not
stuff.
even, that's Willie's voice.
This is my voice. I take I take responsibility for what I say, right? And it's not bad. It's just that sentiment has changed towards the royal family. I'm not making that up. It's if you look at Britain right now, the same thing goes on.
Oh, this is what I was just saying earlier.
You know, on this show, we discuss it.
Absolutely. That's why I'm curious to see what Bermudez was saying about the visit.
Right.
Like, I'm not so sure I would have made this visit if I was Charles around this time.
But technically, we are still in overseas territory, and
yeah, but he's not going to Turks. He's not going to others.
Well, that's true too. It's always something significant attached to a visit. Okay, always.
All I know is he's going to the U.S.
Right.
And to mark their independence.
Okay.
Independence that would have been a lot harder, if even possible, but for our support.
So he gives us 3 days.
On the way back, and his queen won't be with him. Not that, what I'm trying to get at is I think the way both the Bermuda and the UK government worded this.
Yes.
Okay, and my guess is our London office also was a bit involved in the logistics.
Okay, got you.
But to the point of if they don't know,
right,
then how do you mention it? Then how do you recognize it? How do you celebrate it? Right? I get it. The point is they have to know. They are the Department of Culture, the Ministry of Community, or whatever. They're the museum. They're the Royal Watchers, or what? I don't know. But all I'm saying is you and I just happen to sit here with mics and headphones, and I'm a nerd that reads stuff. And
I got you.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to highlight the significance for me from back then as a young child and to now as a man, a grown man who's experienced some things, learned some things, and now can express myself through those experiences.
So I wonder about our young folks, right? Because I think amongst the, I don't know how to word it, but amongst high schoolers,
right?
I would imagine Harry is cool, right? He's in the U.S.
Yes.
And his wife found a prince and married a prince. Like the kind of story is there, and I just wonder. Also, given that I believe, Charles and that fella have a strained relationship.
Yes, Harry.
Right. Harry. So what I'm getting at is that all of those, and Andrew and everything else.
Right.
Hey.
You know, I want to tell you another one of my experiences. Okay. I remember I've been to Britain a couple of times.
Okay.
Right. I've had my share of Britain, and one of the most awesome things that I had seen and the awesome time that I have experienced was I took a trip to Windsor Castle. And I remember getting off the bus and walking up this, on the side, I saw this big, huge wall. Never seen a wall so big in my life. And that was the castle.
Okay.
But I was shocked to see what was on the other side of it. So I walked up the cobblestones and with shops lined all the way around. And it took me back to a period where, you know, they had all that Tudor stuff and, you know.
Mary Poppins stuff.
Yeah. So I go up. And when I get to the top, they said, well, where's the castle? They said, oh, it's over there. And when I looked, over yonder, there was grass as far as I could see. And all I can imagine is these knights in shining armor and the horses and everything else. So then I'm walking, seemed like for days, finally get up to the gate. And then it's there's guards with the big black hats, tall black hats. Yes, beefeaters. And I'm there, and I remember getting a bit too close to him.
Really?
Yeah, and he done this stamping and all that. No, you know me. I had to say to him, you think that's where it's skirmy? I'm from North Shore, boys. No, but I'm saying the history. What I do appreciate, though, is when it gets to, like, King Charles is going to be here and his queen and whatever, I do appreciate history and what they represent. Whether that is translated into how we live or look at things today, no, I don't look at it that way. Okay?
Cool.
So I just wanted to clear that up. I'm not against nobody.
I'll let that one slide. Okay. Well, I'll tell you, we have a call. Let's take calls and then we'll get on to where we are. Hi, caller.
Y'all gonna let that one slide?
Because if it would be blood all over the room. That's why I took a breath and I said, this is my co-pilot. Let me, you by all means, you can take him. In fact, you take him.
I'm saying colonial history,
hello.
monarchy. Man, I like to take a torpedo and take you. I'm containing myself is saying, all that does remind me of the atrocities associated with all of our region. Let alone the British Empire, period, man. They need to scrap all that nonsense and come to reality.
Exactly.
Because I don't care how much pomp and pageantry they had and all that crap. Where's it gonna be?
But caller, let me tell you why I've taken that stance. It's because we still allow for all of that to take place. It's a way to come out of that, and we haven't chosen it. Okay?
Yeah, well,
that's where we're at, because we could kick and punch and this and that, but at the end of the day, we want it because we haven't done anything against it.
But I tell you what, if I'm got a little kid that's got to be out there lining the streets with his school,
you don't send them. You just don't send them school.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, he would be missing from school.
Better believe it.
Right.
I was saying, but you must be crazy.
Really has a good point. We need to take a stand and see all that equals.
Yes.
Why pass us and go over to America and enjoy Trump? Enjoy that whatever is
and keep it moving, and then keep it moving. I agree.
I tell you what, I want to know what time it's happening so that I can make sure I'm fast asleep.
Oh no!
Oh yes, I'm with you.
No, but anyway, you guys.
All right.
It's interesting times, and
yes.
The more we get educated, the stupider we are sometimes. I don't understand.
I'm gonna write that one down. I'm gonna write that one down. You may hear that one again.
He's stupider.
That's what I'm saying.
Stupider. I like that.
Just like that. Exactly.
Stupider.
You may hear that one again. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit. All right.
Anyway, you guys.
Thanks a lot.
I'm enjoying listening, but I just let you know a little few.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad really. Yeah, you had to. Good. Glad you were schooled on that one. All right. Take care. So really, let me.
Sure.
We have a caller. Hey, caller, you on the air?
Hi, I'm Corey and Billy.
How you doing?
Good. It should be a lot of children out of school that week. Because I said if my granddaughter is in school, I'm going to tell her, Mama, make sure she don't participate in that mess.
Hello.
You're good.
That's civil disobedience, okay?
Exactly.
We could turn around.
Yes.
We could turn around and stay at our own protest by not letting our children participate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is true.
That's a good way. Yes. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's very
All right.
good.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
That is clever.
Yes.
Let me. I'll tell you where that came from. So here's the other thing.
Right.
The UK government just refused to support the UN resolution on.
Yes.
Right. And go on.
More so.
Go on, brother.
What we talked about the other day, that our government should at least meet with the governor to say, listen, what the UK, we want to go on record as saying that what the UK done does not represent the people of Bermuda.
There we go.
And that's it. You have to show that you're not pleased and that you're not in, what's that word? Conformity.
Maybe they are pleased and do conform.
Well, we're not.
No, we don't. We the people.
Yes.
But what I'm getting at is imagine what this... So let's say that some radical person 20 years from now researches this trip.
Yes.
Okay. They will go back, like I did, and see the UN resolution.
Yes.
That there was no comment officially, right? Even internally, no comment.
Right.
Then the representative of that state is coming on a state visit.
Yeah.
And there was no comment.
That's true.
And so we'll see what happens when it comes. But the issue for me is where's even the discussion? And this brings me to the problem of CARICOM. Whether we're having a discussion about associate or full, what's the engagement?
Yeah.
Regardless of the title, what is the actual engagement?
Yeah.
Okay? Regardless of whether it's the king or the prime minister.
Yes.
Okay? In your name, the United Kingdom went against that resolution, and you gave us your reasons, so we have the reasons. Right? They are the same as the U.S.
Yes.
You are Trump. So, this is the worst part. The reparation part, and we do have a caller
Okay.
who said if there is going to be a push for reparations,
Yes.
it should happen while we're still in overseas territory, because you can't be as ignored. There are mechanisms.
Yes.
If you go independent and try to do it, you'll be ignored as if you're a stranger.
Yeah.
Right? So, and makes sense.
Well, it would have been, why now?
Well, yes.
Yeah, like, would it make sense?
But this is the problem for me. It's one thing to not support this motion. And let's say that they didn't support the resolution
Yes.
for the reasons they gave. Let's just say they are actually moral people.
Yes.
Let's say they actually are just people and that they do have some remorse.
Yes.
Let's just assume for one moment it's going to be a stretch, but try to think, oh, that is true.
Right.
Maybe there's something technical about this, right? But what can you use to show that while they don't actually support this technical United Nations resolution, they do these other things that show that they actually are trying to make it better or are trying to reverse the injustices and the inequality that they have fostered on us?
I got you.
Not quite, because I'm not finished.
Okay.
Remember, they passed every single law that was racist in this country.
Yes.
Every single thing that happened when land was stolen,
Yes.
when land was created, when the expats were given the right to vote just to prop up the UBP,
Yes.
all of that was supported.
Yes.
All of it. So what am I supposed to think as a thinking black Bermudian male that this United Kingdom has moved on from where it was in 1833? Because let me be clear, this is why the issue of our government not talking about this is so concerning. We know that money created generational wealth that still plays out today against, if you will, other British subjects who are black.
It's true.
So if you remove the race and deal with the immigration, we're all the same. You've done something that's created inequality.
Yes.
You wish to deal with that or not. So don't deal with the UN, but what have you done for us?
Yeah.
Tell me, what is the thing to reverse that?
That's right. It's true.
Nothing. So we get to say, you are who the paperwork says you are.
Yeah.
Because I don't have anything to go against that.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Simple. Now, we do have a topic for today, believe it or not, really.
Not really. I thought we won it.
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah.
I thought you said CARICOM unless something comes up. What's come? Oh, you think that this has come up, the visit. You know what? Let's talk about whatever you want to talk about. What do you want to talk about?
Well, you know what I really want to talk about, but we ain't going to talk about that until Monday. And that's Windrush.
Hold on. You're telling me I'm going to be ready for Monday with that?
Well, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I don't know how you get away with this. Anyway, I do have stuff prepared for today.
Okay.
But I wanted to see, because you're different today. And so I'm just trying to see,
I'm just souped up, man.
I noticed. That's why I'm asking you what to do, because you are somewhere else.
Well, something, I care about my country. And like you say, and you've said before, that the worst thing is for someone in authority to take advantage of those they govern.
Yep.
And we see it every day. Not only that, I hope that through this show and the research that is done, that people would see that over the years, not even that, centuries, decades, you name it, wherever you lived, you're still a part of the system that has brought us where we are today. And it hasn't changed.
Yeah. The system of how we got here was very complex, very deep. It's been media, it's been immigration, it's been votes, it's been politics, it's been law, it's been all sorts. And as I would say back in September, August, when we had shows, I would say unless there's active intervention by the government or by those in authority, we're just going to by osmosis become less racist and become more tolerant. We're going to become inclusive just because we happen to be stuck on the island. Hi, caller, you are here.
Yes, good afternoon, gentlemen. I was just listening, and it's been real hot potatoes today. But I mentioned this to you before, and the statement that you're saying that the British government gave due to the fact that at that particular time, slavery was legal, right? Is that one of the comments towards why they backed out of not supporting what the UN is saying?
Yep, it's a principle called intertemporal.
But again, at that particular time, the UK government never and ever did bring forth any document that legalized slavery. Not one.
But we had this discussion on Monday. They didn't need to.
We had the discussion.
Right, but we discussed why they didn't need to.
I beg your pardon?
But we discussed why they didn't need to, because the very thing from the Vatican that you're talking about.
Why did they didn't need to?
Because they were operating under Rome. The very thing that you're talking about, that I spoke about on Monday.
They were operating under Rome.
That's exactly what I said to you just now. Is what I said on Monday. I even read out the dates of that Roman edict from the Vatican.
Yes.
So what are we doing here?
Well, okay, my point is this. And I know you said they was operating out of Rome.
Under Roman law. So the Vatican, remember, the King James Version of the Bible was 1606. Okay, we're talking about the 1400s. So they only created the Church of England to break away from Catholicism 150 years after this. But your point, mate. I think we discussed this on Monday. Okay? I think that right. So I'm asking you now. You're saying, what did the UK? What law did they bring in their parliament to make slavery legal?
Okay. The reason why I brought this back up again to the fact of this is that it took them up into 2015.
We read that out on, yes, sir.
Yes, I know you read that out as well.
So I'm trying to help my listeners. It's not about me, I'm just talking about the listeners.
They took up into 2015 for that bill to be paid for by the taxpayers of the British government, and also through the way of apprenticeship, which the African nation of people participated in as well, in order for that bill to be paid right up into 2015. So regardless of what they have said in the sense of them saying that, it was legal at the time, but it was legal at the time, it was never settled at the time that it was supposed to be legal. It came into the time in which, at the time, which the British government itself had changed its going from Catholicism to from the church that they are now, the Church of England that we are now, which we Bermuda represent from St. Peter's as being the oldest Anglican church in the world today, and Bermuda is the head representation of the Protestant religion. No other religion is higher than the Cathedral in Hamilton, the Holy Trinity. So they need to take that into consideration. That's all I'm saying, is that if you're going to drag something right along up into today's time in 2015 with payment coming from the general public of the people, they need to think that one over. That's all I'm saying in that sense.
Okay.
So, that's an argument that I'm putting forward in the sense of saying that, yes, you may have had that at that particular time, but things did change, and money still was being distributed amongst all. Do you know who are some of the names and which of those people that received that money?
We have to look. I gotta go. Right. I gotta go because let me
ask you one thing.
No, I'm not answering that question because I already read that out. I've given the website 100 times. We can get that list. All right, caller, you on the air?
Good afternoon, Mr. Butterfield. Good afternoon, Mr. Ferguson.
Yes, good afternoon.
Listen, I'm going to say to both of you gentlemen, right, you're going to need security, because I'm going to tell you like it is. Corey started this last year. I'm in my early 60s. Half the stuff that you guys have taught me, I have never heard of in my life.
Mercy.
Okay.
And now you got my king is up in grade 237.
Hello.
Okay.
Graveyard.
Yes.
Yeah?
I was talking.
Progressive Labor Party has been known to be the government that has led us down to the point of one day we can hear them say, I have a dream, and we know Don Martin Luther King. We're going to be independent.
Hello.
Okay.
If Bermudians really want to make a mark that can never be erased while the world has got their eyes on you, when Charles, the King of England, comes to Bermuda, we should have signs everywhere where he will appear, and let's talk about reparations now.
No. Hello.
Yes.
We're not bowing down to the crown.
No.
And I don't know what the heck, I can't cuss on the radio. I don't know what David Brett is doing, because let me tell you something. When he got over to the World Economic Forum, and he was there with the Antichrist, and I know who I'm talking about, I'm not talking about the king.
Yes.
He can't even look white supremacy in the eye. It's almost like these demonized demons. He can't even look them straight in the eye. He's got his bow down like every other house plantation. You can't call that word on the radio. The point I'm making is this. Really, and let me tell you something, Corey, I mean this sincerely.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever met two guys face to face. This is Dwayne Santucci. I'm in Atlanta.
Okay. Got you.
Let me tell you something. Corey, when you talk about Gibbons Island, Don in fact,
Oh, right.
Yes.
I'm like, that was in Bermuda?
Yes.
All that took place in Bermuda? I'm 62. I've never heard that history.
Wow.
And all the stuff that you said. When my great friend Richard Scott had you up in Somerset Creek.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I'm like, I looked at everything live.
Oh, wow.
I listened to you on replay, and I'm saying all this history. And the PLP have this information, and y'all talking about there's no time for reparation, and David Butt dumped it in your third time, and you haven't once even tried to have the conversation about independence in this country? All you're doing is bowing to white supremacy?
There you go.
Listen, let me tell you something. We're sick and tired of this. Even Dr. Ewart Brown, I got to give him his props. When Dr. Ewart Brown was in premiership, he told the damn governor, I'm not coming up Lincoln Hill every Monday.
I remember that. That's right.
Okay? He told the Crown, you bend down. I'm not down to read the sweetest from the tender lips with a drink in my hand. Okay? Yep. David is a total, and this politically speaking, as my lawyer say, always say this is your opinion, is a total disgrace to the PLP.
Yes. I got you.
All our leaders in the PLP, this guy has taken us back 400 years. And all I'm saying today, listen, I'll say it like this in a calm voice. If Bermudians, black Bermudians, say it the way I put it out on WhatsApp this morning, all you Bermudians that went at the bidding of Rand King, and no disrespect to Rand, he's my brother, when Black Lives Matter came about because of two young Bermudian women, all you suckers went walking through Hamilton because of a drunk addict that got a white cuffed knee, killed him in the states that you'll never meet, and there's no justice, no peace, Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
So right now, Black Lives Matter. And when this man comes to town, let him know that Black Lives Matter. And where's all the damn people that went through our streets when you said Black Lives Matter? So come out now and show this man all through the causeway, all throughout Bermuda, wherever he appears, down St. George's, because you know it's going to go down there. That was the capital back in the day.
Yes.
And let me tell you, and you don't want me to get on that side, because I'm going to right up your ass.
Boy.
My thing is, when King Charles, or Charles King of England, and listen, to all the government officials and judiciary and the Attorney General and the DPP, they're not going to tell me I'm inciting envy. I'm so grateful that Camilla is not coming.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's another segment.
Thank God that woman's not coming. If it was Princess Diana, we'll all be out there.
That woman Camilla, but I don't know how she did what she I don't know how she sleeps.
Listen,
I know that woman sleeps.
And if you want to go real deep, the British monarchy, and you guys know it better than I do. If you look at what was stolen from the motherland,
Yes.
and what the British have in their arsenal, and all of what they have in the palaces and what they have in the UK, period, that belongs to us.
Yes.
And you people want to sit here and do what? I don't think so. Please understand, and I'll go on this statement. When Charles, the King of England, comes to Bermuda, we should be everywhere. The signs, placards, and the world will be watching. All the news media will be reporting. Bermuda, this is your time to shine. The Ghanaian president got on the floor of the UN, and 123 countries said it's time for
123, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
53 or 50 plus abstained.
Yes.
And 3 countries said absolutely no. And guess what? The United States of America, which you already know,
Yep.
our closest neighbor, told you black people to take this stock and put a stock in it and put this foot up there. I can't cuss on the air. Man, I want a state nigga let me cuss.
No, don't say
Let me
that,
tell you
please.
something.
You're being impactful,
White people, it's time to tell these white people where to go. And we're not prejudiced. My dad is white.
Yeah,
But I'll
you-
tell you like it is. I've got melanin in my skin. Could you imagine? My mother's black. Black is so powerful that literally the melanin, it's royal blood, it's your ancestry, it's your legacy. You're the
Yes.
chosen people.
Yes.
And you get around her acting like you're not. Let the king
you go.
come to town. And David, Bert, Ben John, and go down to the crown, go down to Regis, swing from the damn chandelier. For all I care.
Hello.
But David, this is a time that David first could honestly fight for his people. Why? Because he leaves in October.
Mm-hmm. Nothing to
The
lose.
governor is a representative of the crown in Bermuda.
Yes.
So when the man comes to town, he can say to the crown, I'm not bending down. As a matter of fact, I'm not even make myself available to you. I'm leaving out in October anyhow. So I'll go out with a loud statement that we have nothing for you. But he's so used to bowing to devils. David Burt, that's why you can get the Klaus Schwab in the World Economic Forum, the Antichrist forerunner. And now you've got the allegedly seemingly for legality, you got the Antichrist coming to town.
Okay.
The Christians better stand up and know what time it is in biblical history. Stand up for your people.
All right, brother. I want to thank you.
Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to take me a drink and smoke a joint.
You take it easy. Really? That's good. Co-pilot? Woo.
Woo.
I just,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I kind of want to take. All right, we'll do. Hi, Cola. You're on the air.
All I had to say, Grand Rising, brother.
Well, I was
Grand
wondering-
Rising.
I was afraid to press the button, to be honest.
I'm turning both radios down, and I'm saying, whoa, that's what I'm talking about. You got to speak the truth.
That's,
You know what I'm saying?
If you don't see me hesitate to press the button, I'm like, really?
No, you had to let him go.
No, I meant for you. 'Cause I'm like,
no,
really?
to take the next
to
call.
take the next call. That's why I was like, oh my,
okay.
oh my.
I appreciate it.
Well, we're good.
Yeah, man, let me sit down on this one, man, but this was a biggie. Whoa.
Yeah.
Anyway, he just spit it out, and he spit the truth out so beautifully that we have to put it out.
Acknowledge it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we've got to stop living in this fear, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this fear is making us unhealthy, and I'm just generalizing when I say making us, but generalizing says making us unhealthy for our island or community that we live in, 10 miles long, and this and that there. We got to get it together for our youth, our
Yes.
children.
Definitely.
That's it.
Yep, no, I
And
totally
that's
agree.
the main thing why we're speaking this way.
Yes.
And I say to the children, when I see them live back in Bay, and I say, stay in school, get as much as you can. I say, be a leader, don't be a follower.
Hello.
Yes.
Talk to them that way in this way.
Yes.
But I'm telling
Absolutely.
you, brother, since he's talking like I know it also. You know what I'm talking
Dropped it
about.
like
Yes,
it's hot.
yes,
He
you
dropped
know,
it
you
like
know.
it's hot, didn't he?
Okay, I'm not going to say too much because I'm not ready yet, but I'll be there.
Okay. No
Yes, sir.
problem.
Big up, brothers.
All
Yes,
right.
hear your
Thank
voice.
you.
Okay.
Can I say this?
By all means.
Let me calm down a bit.
Yeah, you started. You started hyping
No,
on it.
I
Think about
didn't.
it. You,
No, all
had
I
breakfast,
said. Oh,
and-
well, yeah.
and
that's
I'm
true.
hyped. You
That's
said
true. I was.
I agree.
But someone was more hyped than I am.
Well, yes.
Now, that kind of turned me on. But let me tell you.
Okay.
Let me say this. I said earlier, and I don't know if people understood fully what I was saying, is that we have an opportunity to change all of this here.
Yeah.
We have to make the right decisions. Until then, we have to we have to swallow everything that's put up in front of us.
Oh, we have to swallow it? Can we just
But that's what
chew
we're
it and
doing.
spit it back out?
We have no other choice. That's what we do. We decided by our actions, right, to say
Sure.
we want this way.
No, I got you.
So I've gotten to a stage in my life where I say, you know what? You know that serenity prayer?
Oh, yes.
To change
Change the things I can. Yeah.
Yes. We could change the things that we want to change.
I agree 100.
Okay?
Hi, caller, you on the air? Oh. Hello, caller, you on the air? Okay. Well, let's take a quick break while we can. It's
Sure, I need a break.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a 3-minute and 10-second break. You know how I know that's how long it's going to be?
Because of the song.
Well, yes, but you know these things don't work for me, so we're gonna I'm saying it's going to be a 3-minute and 10-second break.
Yes.
But I'm going to be here in 2 minutes and 45 seconds just in case.
Okay, make
All
sure
right?
I know.
All right, we will be right back, listeners.
We'll be right back with more of the Corey Butterfield Show here on Magic 102.7 FM.
I just said we'll be right back. It didn't. Look, man, I don't understand. I'm gonna have to. That's the first to say you've been listening to the Corey, but like,
Yeah.
it didn't happen. All right. So really, we have to have a staff meeting. Okay, I need
Another one?
Well, yeah, this one is an emergency staff meeting.
Okay.
Mate, I brought in some stuff today
Yes.
to talk about. I thought we were going to have a like remember Christmas time? We talk about marble pie and,
But, Corey, you have to recognize, right, that some topics and some are real issues for people.
Oh, totally. Oh, I'm here.
And not the last caller, the caller before that, you could really tell that colonialism and everything attached to it, and not only that, our response to it by our leaders is inadequate for him.
So let me address that, because I did, during the break, I did consider saying something, okay?
Right.
So I had a meeting today prior to coming on here.
Okay.
And it's someone from the UK who is researching and will publish a paper. And I think it's probably too broad for me to limit to say it's going to be about this.
Right.
But let's just say that for the moment, she had identified the King's visit, the UN vote, the CARICOM arguments.
Okay.
And she said to me, and I forget the exact words, so forgive me if you're listening, but the statement was sort of like, do you feel that this is Bermuda's moment? Like, this is a moment for Bermuda's geopolitical history, that given the CARICOM and the King and the reparations and all of it, doesn't it feel like Bermuda's at a moment?
Right.
And it does. I told her it feels like it. All the ingredients are there. I just don't know we actually want the cake.
Yeah.
Right? The flour, the sugar, the eggs, the milk, it's all, you can see it.
Yes.
I know what I'm saying, someone who just flew in 2 days ago senses that Bermuda has a moment.
Okay.
The caller senses it. You do. I do.
Yes.
Okay? There could be a real line in the sand drawn, a real message sent, right, about us as a people, and that we have national interest that is not CARICOM, is not US, is not UK, is not Canadian. It is ours.
Yeah.
Because this is our rock. We've been here as long as we've been here, and this is what we need and want.
Yeah.
Or this is what justice is to us. Or this is what healthy is to us. Or this is what being Bermudian is to us. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I accept that maybe my friend who reached out to me this morning and said, look, if you do Windrush, make sure you raise the king. Well, mate, that was the other way around. Right? For sure.
I see.
And so I kind of am in between two minds here. I do have the UN resolution with me. It was quite heavy. It was 7 pages. I read out most of it. I have the UK's answer to that. The phone is like, nope. I mean, you tell me, co-pilot.
Let's hear it, because some people have some.
Can I read this one first? Can I just? I gotta get this.
Sure.
Let me just say, I've had this for about 6 shows, right?
Right.
And it's just a stupid little story. Okay, it's just it's really dopey.
Okay.
Okay, but it stood out in my eye, and I brought it in.
Okay, it's fine.
This is from the June 20th, 1961.
Okay, I wasn't even born yet.
So this is from June 20th, 1961. The headline is from Reuters, right?
Okay.
UFO hovers over city in West England. Exeter, England, June 19th. A mystery flying object was reported to have hovered stationary over the city of Exeter today for more than 1 hour. Officials at the local airport said, "We do not know what it is. It was seen on the radar screen. We have had it under observation for some time. We think it's pretty big. It appears to be shining brightly and to be about 50,000 feet up." A mystery object was also reported over Scotland last night by hundreds of people. End of the story. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the whole article, right?
Oh.
And so it's not even written up like unknown, sparks.
Right.
Thing, right? Oh, we're going to get back to you. Right?
So no statements from anybody?
None.
Nothing.
And so it made me wonder, given it's just UFO hovers over the city of West England,
right,
like in the 60s, where people just, there's a UFO. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's not like they said we contacted the Navy who said the story just ends.
Yeah.
People saw a UFO, it hovered for over an hour, and people went on. Like, I just think the way it's written is
bizarre.
But believe it or not, Billy, that story was going to lead into kites, right? Things in the sky. Get it? You see how that kind of connects?
I got you.
But regrettably, well, not regrettably actually, because we're loosey goosey here, and because we try to give our listeners what we think they want, we have a caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, it's me just calling back. I'm not going to be long. I just think it's a bit unfair for the comments I'm hearing concerning the premier in the sense of how people think he should be speaking up right now, even after they have heard the vote on the situation of reparation. You know, there's always a time and place for everything. And for us to think that our premier is not speaking at the time in which they do think he should be speaking, he already put out messages a long time ago in the sense of informing England or the Crown or whatever it is that our relationship with them is not as good as he expected it to be. He's already said that to them. So it's not sitting idle in the sense of allowing things to happen amongst the people of Bermuda in which that he represents, and how we now think because we see all of this that's happening before us. But there's always a time and place for everything. Thank you very much.
Okay. I got to say, I disagree with that caller. The time and place on what we were speaking about was as near the vote. The issue is whether or speaking to governors, other political leaders, that's a level of private diplomacy we spoke about here, that Mia Mottley said she was going to speak to the Prime Minister of Trinidad behind closed doors. Well, she wanted to speak about a feeling she had. The issues we're speaking about now are very obvious and happened at the time. If it wasn't time to speak when CARICOM spoke, when the chair of the Reparations Committee of CARICOM spoke, when the UK government spoke, then I don't know when was the relevant time, because they all picked the same time to speak that I think was most relevant, which would have been relevant for us to speak. To say is unfair to me and unfair to us. There is, and our listeners wouldn't necessarily know this, but I have been a political communicator. I have been responsible for political communications from governments. And what we like to think here, and what politicians in Bermuda like to think, is if you don't know, that's your fault. And so the government can just make a statement in Parliament and let it go. And act on that with the knowledge that they have told Parliament, or they told the country, knowing full well they have not communicated that. So they've released a statement, but they've not communicated it. There is a philosophy in mostly every government except this one about government communications. If you want to ask me how I know, is because I will give a small breach of my contract, but I had to advise on this. And so looked at communication around the world, the gold standard, the terrible standard, all of it. And everybody, whether they're a terrible communicator or a great communicator, believes that giving the people the information they need is the obligation and responsibility of the government. There's no responsibility on the public to go hunting to find the information that they need for their lives. That's one. Two, as a representative, the people of Barbados, as an example, know that Mia Mottley will speak with or had spoken to. So she at least advised them of the fact there was going to be communication. That hasn't happened here either. And I could go on and on and on, but we have other callers. I had other stuff to talk about, but I'm going to leave the other stuff, I think, till probably Wednesday.
Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Caller, you're on the air.
Willie and Corey, let me just take 1 second. To the caller that said that David Burt, let me explain something. I'll keep it calm, but I'm going to keep it direct.
Okay.
Premier Burt has been in office 2 terms, now serving his 3rd and final term. Mm-hmm. How long does it take to address the issues in this country, especially with reparations or just affordability and being able to survive in this country and what white supremacy still enjoys that we don't enjoy? You look at Morgan's Point. Case in point, look at Southland. You got Zandy Silver, a wannabe, okay? Portuguese, nigger knee, black knee, whatever knee. And Zan's a friend of mine. I consider him a friend. Listen to me.
Okay.
Morgan's Point, you got over 100 acres up there. And you tell me you're going to stick modular homes in these 10 shacks up in Burroughs Island, down around by Middletown, but we can't even have 5 acres of Morgan's Point for our people. Mm-hmm. So who you think they're bowing to? But you're going to have a medical facility put up there for these white people to come down here, get liposuction, suck this out, suck that out, doing everything to try to be black, but they can't. They want our lips, our hips, and everything in between. But at the end of the darn day, what the heck are you people doing around here? And what sickens me, we can talk about David Byrd all we want and the PLP, but the real responsibility is on the black community.
That's what Billy was saying. That's what Billy was saying. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's what Billy was saying.
When are we going to stand up?
Yep.
I've been listen, my brother in the PLP is going to laugh because I can't call his name. He said, listen, do you realize they're in the Caribbean? Those are the radicals that came out of Ghana and West Africa. Yes. They don't bow to the crown. Mm-hmm. But in Bermuda, yes sir, no sir. And you know when we say yes sir, no sir, we seem to lean our head to the side. Man, please, somebody get the camera on David when this man come. Tip one head. I'm going to look you straight in the eye, man to man. I don't bow down to no crown. And I want to say to that guy, David Byrd has had long enough to address. This guy's in a perfect position. Do you realize what David has been given as a young man? He is in a perfect position to help balance the playing field that Ewart Brown started to do. I've got a paper that Ewart Brown, I hope it's still good in my storage. Ewart Brown wrote a paper that he wrote, that Dan Ewart Brown Evans had a copy of, that he read out in Warren years ago. And he read something so profound, and he took and challenged white supremacy even to the identity of being able to come back home and serve as a doctor in his own country. Mm-hmm. And you people don't realize what white supremacy is doing. You've got mergers around here with the insurance companies. They're charging more and for your insurance policies, but they're giving you less. And then they're going to tell you where you can and cannot buy your prescription because you've got friends and family benefits around here. These black son of a mother that are around here taking themselves to ball and down.
Good thing you kept the calm.
Yeah.
Yes, brother.
Look, keep the, and to Mr. Blakeney, because Blakeney knows I fire on all cylinders. Blakeney, I don't care how many private meetings they have about Billy Ferguson and Corey Butterfield. Let me tell you something. This is the talk we need, sir. This is the talk we need. And if you need security or a political hitman, I'm your guy. I'm available, and I don't believe in violence. It's the other way to take them down without bowing to the crown. Let me get the hell off before I do go to cussing.
All right, my brother.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Billy, we have another caller. Okay. Hi, caller.
Yeah. What did we do before all the rest of the colonies that we're talking about? And even when it comes down to that person that you said, but the UN president said the time is now. Let me put it straight forward. Before all of those all kinds of colonies out there, including the United States and all the rest of them that's around us, you know what we did first? We emancipated our people. Okay? And they're following in our footsteps when it comes to standing up for the African nation of people worldwide. Bermuda, through our Mary Prince. Don't forget that. Mm-hmm. Okay? And when it comes to people who think they can speak for us and say that we should be doing this and that, are not qualified to speak for any Bermudian. Okay? Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh, Billy?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing I realized. Mm-hmm. Today, being Bermudian is being proud to be Bermudian. There's a separation that I'm hearing that I don't know would have come out in other forums, right? But the thing that I'm hearing is that I think that visit might be the very catalyst to get us to look closer at our own interests.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
Because that's what I'm hearing. We actually have another. Hi, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Distinguished gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Good
I'm going to
afternoon.
start off with this. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil. Now, gentlemen, I know the listening audience knows the following of that scripture.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to say to both of you, yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you fear no evil, for thou art with you. His rod and staff comforts you. He prepares a table before you, in the presence of your enemies. I'm not going to go on that one.
Right.
So I'm just letting you know.
Thank you
So
for
I
that.
just continue. Continue to do what you got to do. And I know my mate, I hope he's listening. Simmer down. We do this thing not by flesh, in the spirit realm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay?
Got you.
I'm talking to my brother that was on earlier.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Listen, I'm got some extra hair gaskets and piston rings. I'm learning how to keep them down, right? I've got a couple of containers, brother. You can come get some from me. Because I used to blow them real good too, right? But the good Lord is teaching me how to go after these things. And you know better too, also. So simmer it down
Yeah.
and go after it in the spirit realm.
Got you.
Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
Yes,
He knows
right.
it.
Yeah.
He knows it. And right now, and I know he knows who this is.
Yes.
So let me say this to you guys. My prayer, and I'm telling you, my prayer is that you will just continue on. And I would say that no weapon formed against you. I'm speaking the word over you because that is the only thing that will keep those demons that would like to stop this from happening. Speak the word.
We're going to keep
That's
doing
right.
that.
Those that are listening to you that know how to speak the word or pray the word. And listen, and if some of you that call yourself Christians or believers don't believe truth telling should be told, then you need to read hash and check what you're supposed to be doing because the word talks about telling the truth. Right?
Yes,
and
sir.
a lot of truth telling is coming out of here. Now,
Appreciate that.
I would also say this, that my mate's on the right track, right? And I'm learning myself to moderate myself. And if I have to, I'm not afraid to. But I'm going to leave with this question with both of you. This time of the year, yes?
Yeah.
Is Easter, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, before Christ went, right?
Yeah.
Before they came and got him, it had to be some things that happened. I'm going to ask the question, how much do you think it cost us? Did that go over your head, or do I need to break it down?
You may want to break that one down. I have a guess, but if I was to get it wrong,
Oh, okay. You've been in Sunday school.
I know that's what I'm saying. You're not talking about the 30.
It cost 30.
I know. That's why I said the 30.
30.
I know. I knew where you were
30
going.
shekels.
I said, buy this, buy.
Yes.
It's buy nothing.
No, I know. I'm saying that I should say this cold one. I should have said.
Yes.
Listen, this buy nothing. I'm talking real.
Yes.
How much
you
has it
are.
cost us?
Yes.
So we have to recognize what's going on and don't expect for him to do it for us.
No.
Because when I look at when we gave him the outstanding, and I'm saying it many a times, half of them could have stayed him and still passed policies and laws.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? What have they
Yep.
done with it?
I used to say it for all
But
time.
damn, people would say, "Oh, listen to him," but this is where we were at. You understand?
I do.
Where
Yeah.
we're at.
See, I think part of the challenge, right? Part of the challenge for us who are somewhat more mature, older than our current leaders, is that we know better, right? We lived through better.
Yes.
And so you can't ask us to play dumb when we've had real, actual leaders, right? When I read, like sometimes I read some stuff here in the studio, and like when I read Alex Scott talking about the social agenda and the role of service, you know, that wasn't that long ago, but to the current, I'll give you an idea. Alex Scott left office in 2006, okay, that's 20 years ago. If the average age of our cabinet is 46, what do you think they were doing 20 years ago?
It was in college.
Right. And I was writing speeches for politicians 30 years ago. So to ask me to play along with their level of competence is an insult to my life, to Alex Scott, to Jennifer Smith, even to Hugh Brown and Paula Cox. It does not fit. Okay? And the only thing that's happening is they are doing, as someone said to me, the best they can, and therefore people should agree and let it slide?
I'll tell you what we need to do. Bench them.
Well, I've been saying the whole class, right? That they are like officers. They took a raise, both of them. So here we are. But I got another caller coming in.
Corey.
Yes, my brother.
Listen to you and Billy. Keep doing what you're doing. I might get somebody if something happens and they have secret meetings and something happens. We will go and put up some antennas.
Oh yeah.
And rig up something.
Got you.
That we can break through the atmosphere.
Hello.
You guys laugh.
No.
Because we can't afford to allow this type of thing to continue on.
No.
And we're getting it from our earnings. So cool.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Remember, if God be for you,
who could be
against you?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Listen, I could see. Well, I won't be a part of if you're talking, no truth.
Oh,
yeah. No.
I won't be a part of it.
No.
Right.
To be a truth teller.
Got you.
Because none of them could come on the radio and say anything.
Well, that's true.
Well, actually, I think you would have been in court, and it would have been a secret meeting in the secret meeting. Have a nice day.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.
Well, we have another call.
Okay.
All right, caller, you're on the air.
Be still and know that I am.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and really,
Yes.
you guys are making me, really taking me back, okay?
Okay.
I heard someone say earlier that they don't know a lot about our history. Well, it's a sad thing, like back in the day, they took a lot of these royal reading books about Bermuda history and all that stuff back out of our education, okay?
Yep.
They can say what they like about the computer and this and that, but not everybody will go into that.
No, exactly.
And a lot of it is not been put in there about Bermuda.
Okay.
There's clause geography books and history books. One time I was talking to somebody from an island, and I mentioned about the royal readers down there. He said, "Mommy, how you know about that?" I said, "Well, because we're partly the West Indians too, you know."
There we
Yes,
go.
there. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you, I feel very saddened about a lot of stuff because it seems just like what I fought for is just standing still.
Wow.
Are these generations coming up today, are they willing to sacrifice like I did? Take my children out of their job to stand for the rights, and I had to feed my children where I worked 2 and 3 jobs. You know, my son and daughter was here with me the other day, and we were discussing about church and Sunday school. People have to stop saying that children, the sports has got to come out. Big Mouth just got off that. What? Mama used to let us go. Gotta go to Sunday school. Remember that day we came in from church early and Mama veiled us. So he said, Mama, you mustn't have been in church, but the daughter said, you forget the majority of the jobs Mama had. She had to work Sundays. But she had her Sunday school closed, and this is Big Mouth. And she used to listen to the radio, and she knew when we got out of Sunday school too early. And sure, I used to lick the backside.
There we go.
And I'll tell you what, is taking up scriptures and religion in school like it used to be.
Yep.
Yes.
That was one part of our education. I respect everybody if they respect me in my spiritual walk.
Yes.
But really, I pray that this younger generation, do they know where they are? Corey, and really,
I don't know. I tried to talk to him when I was there, and my take on it is like I saw someone called some of them a microwave generation, and to me it feels like the title is the thing and not the work. So when I was there, right, the lead and I remember Smith calling me, Corey, we need to meet every day. I said, seriously, Miss Smith? I'm just the PRO. Because you're the PRO, you need to know what's going on out there. I need to know what's going on. Right? And so I had an authority, but also an obligation to represent the party on issues that would impact Bermudians. Because the government can only do and say what the government can say, but the party can say something else. But say about the King's visit, right? The government would have to put out the press release, but the party could say anything, but they just don't.
my king and queen is over in the graveyard.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and no disrespect. But I would like for you to bring boxes there and others like you. Just try to see if we can get this younger generation. All these materialistic stuff that they gravitate to.
Yes.
Hey, that's just part of life. That is part of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I am so grateful. When I say to you guys, as a Corey, 16-and-a-half-year-old woman got great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
Corey, don't say
not one word. No, sir, not one word.
But what I'm saying, I'm getting emotional of hearing some of the stuff that I know I've been through. And I am sorry, but I feel like we're just stuck. And people stop talking about you're going away. Away? This is your country.
Somebody told me that. It's funny. I had yesterday.
Right.
I said, if you think they're chasing me out of my country, you must be crazy.
Look, I ran in the shop yesterday. Something last year I was paying about $3 for. You know what I paid for it? $5 something.
Well.
And I had to go in the bag just now again. Let me make sure it's the right price. At first I thought I threw the receipt in the trash. I'm serious, you guys. I had, because I brought up a large family. You both know that.
Yes.
And I done my best, and we respect, but don't push the button.
Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now. Bermuda Live on YouTube. Subscribe now.